welcome to BadBoys TV. This is our last match of the night. Alright, this is our last match of the night. We've got Chris Rocha and Tony Laudadio. This is in the B division. They'll be racing to 4. These guys were scheduled to play at 10:30 and they wanted to get started early. So we jumped on. So those of you that weren't expecting anything for another 10 or 15 minutes. This is day 1 of singles action here at the 2017 Texas State 8-Ball Championships. And, it's been a busy room today. Had the Open, the Bs, the Women, and the Seniors Division all playing today. We're trying to bring you as much of the action as we can. I know this is like my 7th or 8th match with you guys today, and some of you I think have been here the entire time. Hey, we appreciate it. We love you guys out there. Hope you're enjoying the stream. This is Brett Baker. I believe Jeremy Jones, when he gets back, will probably join me again. We kind of weren't expecting this match to happen so quickly. Looks like he's going to jump and try to make this 12. Wow. Well, a good hit. He just didn't get the 12 to go. So tough when you get hooked on your last ball, the 8-ball. Okay, so it's going to bring Chris to the table. Chris is from Houston, Texas. Oh, man, he just missed that. Missed that, too. He's got a Fargo rating of 495. Meanwhile, this is Tony Laudadio that's coming back with a much better shot on the 12 this time. Tony Hill's from Austin, Texas, and he's got a 508 Fargo rating. So we should be looking at a pretty good match here. They're pretty evenly matched.
Some of these lower 500s from this area are pretty good.
Yeah. He ran out and hooked himself on the ball before the 8 and made a nice jump shot. Didn't pocket the ball, but got away with it. So Tony takes a 1-0 lead. And it'll be Chris Rocha's burn. Nope, looks like it must be Tony's break.
We got this one started a little bit early.
Yeah, they wanted to start early, and it was like, Rick says, "You guys all ready to go?" I says, "Well, you were here."
Yeah.
And then they only had one, so I was standing out there waiting for the other one, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, I think they started." So I ran back here.
He's got a pencil in his pocket. He's ready to keep score.
There you go.
He's got to be careful to have two pencils in his pocket.
Yeah.
They tend to break in your back pocket.
Yeah, you sit down on them, they don't last too long. Well, Wayne, you'll be here till the end of the streaming. Unfortunately, that's not we still got a ways to go till the end of the night. There'll be matches that are still finishing up out there when we get done here.
We usually get done here about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, this isn't too bad as far as tournaments go.
No, we have many that are worse. The Nationals, sometimes we have matches go out at 11:30 or 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We don't like to, but in that situation, there's no other choice.
It's gotten a lot better, though.
Yeah.
Even at Nationals. I can remember days where you played till 4 in the morning, and then had to be back at 9 a.m. And with CTS and with
good scheduling.
Yeah, with BadBoys scheduling.
It's more about knowing pool players than anything else.
Well, yeah, Rick has really worked to make the races fit the time frame, and Kenny's pretty good with the scheduling. You don't see too many super late nights anymore. Now we moan and whine when we got to be here past 1.
Yeah.
What do you mean we're not going to be done at midnight?
Yeah, but when I was playing pretty solid, it was first available tournaments, and
yeah,
some of those were 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, things where you didn't have sleep for 2 days.
Yeah. It's hard to see good pool.
I had a 3 o'clock in the morning match one time and a 9 o'clock in the next morning match. I never did recover on those.
Yeah. Even when you're young, it's hard to, because you finish that 3:30 in the morning match, and it's not like you can just go right to sleep.
Yeah.
Your adrenaline's going, you're pumped up. You were probably drinking Red Bull or something,
Yeah.
to stay awake during your match. Now you can't go to sleep. Well, Chris has got another chance at the table here. First time he came to the table, he had it pretty wide open, but he just missed a 2-ball up there in the corner. That here he's got the solids out here pretty good if he can just keep it simple.
I don't know Chris very well. I do know Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony's another one that plays in our mini tournaments in
Okay.
Vegas a lot. It's amazing how many of the Texas players actually show up in Vegas. We get a large number of Texas players to show up to nationals. It's nice too to see them multiple times a year.
Yeah, you really kind of get to know them and who they are.
How they play.
Yeah. Well, and these Texas players seem to do pretty well at nationals.
Yeah, they do. They do. Was it 2 years ago? We had 2 Texas teams in the finals of teams.
Yeah. And I think they had finished first and third here or something like that.
Yeah.
And the team that won nationals was the team that finished third here. Uh-oh. Rolled just a tad too far there.
Yep. And unfortunately, this is going to get sticky right here.
Well, no matter what, whether he shoots the 7 or the 2, which he really should be looking at that 2, I think. But he's up over a ball. This is really, really tough. If I was him, I'd shoot the 2 because you're probably going to miss and you're going to leave a lot less by shooting the 2 than if you try to shoot that 7. You're going to go into the 10.
I would agree with that.
You're going to leave him a shot.
Right. If you shoot the 7 and make it, you may
get
have a better chance of getting out.
You may, or you may be hooked behind that 11.
You're right. Right.
His saving grace is the 15 and the 14 are not wired to go anywhere. They will have to be moved before they go anywhere. So he's got that working for him. If I was him, I'd be working on just hitting the ball and making a good hit.
Maybe pushing that cue ball to the rail. If he could hit that 2 and just push the cue ball up to the rail without making the 2, it would be probably the best case scenario.
There we go. That was a really good shot.
Yep, and he set it
He's
right
blocked.
on the rail.
He did. He set it right on the rail. He's blocked the 11-10. And
not much he can ask for other than that.
There's no offensive shot here. Oh, Forrest, bummer that you got beat. Hopefully the bet wasn't too high.
Yeah.
Said he had to rejoin us to make sure us pool players are still human.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're still human. And if by that you mean we make mistakes, because, yeah, we're still human then.
Oh, boy.
I got the last one right, though.
Yes, you did. Ooh, okay, that's 1. I think my over and under was 3 for the week. So.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think. Well, Tony left the 4.
yeah. He's blocked the 7.
Yeah. Blocked the 7, left the 4.
But his ball doesn't really, I don't think he really wanted it.
No, he didn't want it there. He made it tougher on himself.
Yeah. It was coming down nicely to kind of sit in front of that hole until that second kiss. Need Dennis one pocket video. I don't think Dennis has made any videos. Hey, if you're learning, that's the key.
I think I learn something every time I play.
Do you play one pocket or
No,
no?
actually, commentating one pocket at Derby was my first real experience with one pocket,
No, was it?
especially on that level. I mean, I've
Mm-hmm.
watched a lot of one pocket, but mostly just guys in my local pool hall playing. And I've watched like at Derby before, but I've never really sat and watched that much of it.
Right. Yeah, I've watched a lot of one pocket, especially at Derby.
I'll tell you what, a couple of those guys, their one pocket's like watching nine ball.
Oh,
Billy Thorpe and those guys breaking and out on
yeah,
8 and out on one pocket is impressive.
it is.
Billy broke and run 2 racks of one pocket in the same match, and a race to 3.
Yeah, no, okay, Scott's one pocket videos are really good. They're
Yeah.
awesome. Anybody who's serious about wanting to learn to play one pocket should get those videos.
I mean, he's literally a legend.
I've heard. He is a legend. One of the greatest one pocket players of all time.
I think it says that on the video, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it. I think it does. I think it does. So this is last year's Bad Boys shirt.
Yeah, that's the Texas shirt we had made.
I liked it.
I did too. I really like that shirt. Matter of fact, I think I have one on.
I wasn't here last year. I was like, come on, Rick, you didn't save me one?
You know what? We almost didn't get them.
Really?
That we were sold out by Wednesday.
Wow. In other words, I better get one of those
The little guy,
United States ones.
the little guy with chaps on, riding the 8 ball in the back with the cowboy hat on,
Mhm.
that just flew.
Yeah,
They just loved it.
I'm really surprised he didn't have a Texas one this year.
Well, he wanted to make one that we could take with us for other places.
Sure.
But I don't know if we're going to have any left. I may print more of those though for Vegas, with
Yeah, I would think.
with the United States
Yeah,
on the back of it.
I would think they would go good at Vegas too. The other one I think that would go good.
Yeah, I agree, Forrest. That 2 ball does have his number.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't quite get the rail.
Oh, he opened
Didn't
that up
quite
too.
get it. Opened it up and didn't quite get there.
So which 7 ball are you going to shoot?
Yeah. Well, I'm just hoping that Chris shoots it,
Yeah.
and he's not really looking at it right now.
Oh. I mean, you could use it as a finishing ball, but you've got to be in a good spot to do it.
I don't even know that it goes by that.
You remember
10.
what you were talking about with the...
Oh, come on.
See, I think it does go by the 10. I think he's thinking about doing the 2 in the side, the 4 in the side, and then coming and shooting the 7 in the corner, finishing with the 8 in the other corner. But remember when we were talking about being able to roll up and take the position of
Right.
the object ball? That's what he has to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's a really, really hard shot.
Now, if he gets the right angle, he can make the 7 and use the 10 to stop the cue ball.
Let's see here. What's the real deal when it comes? Yeah, I watched that whole match. That was some of the best one pocket I've seen in a long time. Unfortunately, Scott did not have his A game.
Now,
with that.
if you look, he does have the right angle. He can
Yeah.
use his 10 ball to stop the cue ball.
Or he could just shoot and stop there so he's not over a ball.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's following. Oh, that was
Yeah,
perfect.
it's
Perfect,
absolutely
yeah.
perfect.
That was perfect.
He read that perfectly.
Let's finish this off. This rack was well played by him.
Yep.
Job, Chris. Felt bad for him. The first one is he made one ball and then he rattled the 2 ball. I'm like, oh, what a tough way to start a match, you know.
Yeah. You can see on the back of our shirt there our sponsors, OBQs, Diamond Tables, CSI.
Oh, that was rail to rail.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? Yeah, we wouldn't be doing these tournaments and these streams without our sponsors.
Boy, that rack is crooked.
Yes, it is.
I would not let that fly if it was me.
I don't think he did it on purpose, but that is pretty crooked.
Yeah. That really changes what happens when you bust that rack.
I was going to say, I'm kind of interested to see how these balls.
Oh, you can actually line a ball up pretty good.
Is the 2 wired for the corner
it's
now?
pretty wired, yeah.
That's what I'm watching.
No.
Oh, man, it hit the bottom rail way.
Yep, it hit it solid. But then again, that could have been the way he racked also.
Yeah. Well, he got a good spread. Didn't make anything, so
He didn't make any advantage.
the rack gave him no advantage. Like I said, I don't think there was any intention there.
No. But if you did that to a pro, he's going to tell you right away.
Forrest wants to know, how can he get one of these shirts?
Forrest, you can send me an email at jeremy@badboysbp.com and tell me which shirt you want, and I will send you an invoice on PayPal and be more than happy to ship one to you. I'll have to charge you the shipping charges, but I can get you one. I can't get you the shirt that he had on because I don't have any of those. But I can get you our current shirt or one of our Cyclops shirts or whatever you're interested in. I can send you some pictures. And I'll have Brett type that my email address into the chat room for you. Jeremy@badboysbp.com.
He says, awesome. Aunt Tony wants a shirt, too.
I've already emailed her back and
Oh, good.
told her how we could get it.
I told her, I said, look, take the shirt off of him and send it to me. All right, we'll get on that right after this match.
Are you talking about taking my shirt off?
No, I think.
Gary or Greg?
What size you wear?
I do actually have that same shirt on. That's why I was curious.
I think yours might be the next size bigger.
Yeah.
I actually ran out of clean Bad Boys t-shirts this morning. I'm wearing my Derby City shirt. Gonna have to do laundry after this tournament.
I'm sure we've got one of those shirts for you, one of the new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, you probably do.
You know, it's funny. This is the time of year where we go through more shirts Sell more shirts this time of year than any other time of the year. Oh, wow.
Well, it's too bad we didn't have some of the new ones. And in fact, when you look at, I didn't realize we had so many of the older shirts.
You
It's
know,
like, man, at Lincoln City, we had some guys just begging for,
what,
all we had was the Fargo and the karate.
yeah. What happens is we get some stuck in Vegas because we can't take everything that we have.
Right.
And then we get some stuck in Lincoln City. So what I had Rick do this time is bring all the ones that we had from Vegas and Lincoln City down here to move some of those shirts and get them on the road again.
Right. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, if you just happen to be the right size, you can, get some pretty cool.
Yeah.
You could probably get 4 or 5 different shirts if you just happen to wear the right size.
So I'm going to ask the chat room and see what they think, but I'm thinking about doing another shirt. Our Bad Boys shirts, we always have stuff on the sleeves and on the back because pool players always lean over the table. And I'm thinking about making a shirt and printing on the front of it that if you can read this shirt, I've been sitting in the chair too long. So what do you guys think?
That'd be on the front. I've always said we should have one. I want to bring back some of the old ones, like Chicks Dig Bad Boys, because we have the diamonds.
Yeah.
That was a great one. I never
Yeah.
did. That's before
Actually, I don't have that one.
I don't either. And it's a great cross promoter for Diamond and Bad Boys.
I like the Cyclops guy when we came out with the Cyclops guy. It was pretty popular down here, too.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Did you see the hats that I had done with the Cyclops guy coming over the top of
Yeah,
the Bad Boys?
I do have one of those. It's pretty cool.
See what they said here.
The waitress at the corner pockets of Lauren will be in 11 a.m. Okay, and let me know. Okay, that was Rick that wanted to know about Lauren, but if you tell me, I'll pass it on. If you're close enough to read this, you're sharking.
Yeah, that's pretty good, too.
That's a good one, too. Good job, Kenneth. I've always said we should have one that says, let's see, I got to make sure I say it right. Bonnie's no sounds better than Rick's yes.
Yeah.
Because, and I've always thought we should have one. You got to commit.
Yeah. It's a long story behind the commit.
Yeah, there's a long story that. But we would get a really good a laugh out of that one every time.
I thought about doing a pink men's shirt that says confidence is everything.
Yeah. I was just telling Kenny earlier, about the color that Roger and and then I said we could have a Bad Boys shirt that color.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot.
I do too, yeah. And I happen to look good in pink or whatever you call that, but or at least women tell me I do. I just whatever, okay.
You believe all that stuff?
Hey,
no.
Whatever women say, yes, ma'am.
There you go.
You're a married man. You know how that goes.
Yep.
The day I got married to Julie, her dad comes up. He goes, "I'm going to give you the secret to a happy marriage." He goes, "You got to learn 2 words." And I looked at him like, "Okay." He goes, "Yes, ma'am." Or he goes, "Yes, dear" is acceptable too.
Yeah.
He goes, "Very rarely do I get in a fight when I use those words."
Yeah. I don't think me and Amy have been in a fight yet. Not that I can remember.
Yeah, Julie and I have been together for 12 years, and I think there's only one time that we had any kind of a disagreement. And as it turns out, I was wrong.
Well, I knew that.
It just it just took me a couple of days to realize that I was the one that was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, Chris has settled in here and is playing some good pool.
Yes, he is.
Unfortunately for Tony, he's doing a lot of work early and he's just not quite getting out. Oh. And that is a tough deal when you're on the verge of playing really good, but you're just not quite getting out. I used to have a shirt that it was all written upside down so that, it was for me when I look down, but it's to keep your head down, concentrate, stay down.
Yeah. Stay down, boy.
And I don't know how
That's a lesson that's hard to learn.
stay down, yeah. Boy, and watching and commentating here, you see it so many, even top players. It's like, oh, he raised up on that one.
Yeah, I can tell you a story about trying to train myself to stay down. I was horrible about standing up in my stroke. Actually, I tied the weight to my neck.
Oh, as I say,
you can feel it every time you stand up. Every time you start to lift, you can feel it on the back of your neck.
I've always been told, if you put a rope around your neck and a hook under your scrotum that
No.
You won't raise up.
Yeah. No, a buddy of mine that I played at his house all the time, he just came up with we just tied a string around and put a weight on the end of it that was the right length for it just to sit on the floor. And every time I would stand up, I could feel that on the back of my neck. Didn't take very long.
And it wouldn't take much weight either. I mean, it's not like you got to have 20-pound weight down there.
No, it was like a bean bag or something.
Yeah.
It was something.
Huh.
It stopped it, though. I can tell you that. I did it for probably a month, and it stopped it completely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Earl hadn't tried that one yet.
That's the only thing Earl hasn't
But he
tried.
does have ass weights, just in case you're curious.
He does have ass weights. And he says, but he will. Yeah, he made Joe Rogan look pretty smart when he brought out the ass weights. Because I think that was part of a comedy routine. And
if you haven't seen that video tonight, before you shut off YouTube, look that up. Joe Rogan does Earl Strickland.
Oh, it's
best video on YouTube.
It is. Oh my gosh. He has it down perfect.
And if you don't know Earl very well, you will by the time you get done watching that video.
Yep.
Best Earl story I have is riding on the bus with Earl at the Southern Classic.
You were on? Oh, okay. The
bus between the two buildings.
The shuttle that went to the casino back to the hotels.
Yeah. Earl was on the bus beside me and Amy. And the bus driver had told Earl, Earl had said his name was Earl the Pearl. And the guy said there was a basketball player named Earl the Pearl. He sucked too. Oh my Lord.
Man.
Earl erupts on the bus. And I'm the only thing that stops him from killing the bus driver. It was something else.
Holy smokes. Wow. Okay, well, I've got to tell my Earl story then because it's pretty similar. Just dating my wife back then, and Johnny Archer and Earl come to our town to do an exhibition and stuff. And Earl's out there and he's doing some trick shots. And he sets up the butterfly shot. It's 6 balls out in the middle of the table, and you shoot, and 1 ball goes in all 6 pockets. But he sets that up, and I looked at my wife at that time. She was, we were just dating, and I said, hey, you want to watch me make this guy go just totally lose it and go off? And she kind of looks at me like, you don't even know him, you know? And so I said, there's a bunch of people, and I yell, yeah, I saw Jeanette Lee make that shot on TV earlier today. Oh my gosh. He just explodes into this diatribe about Jeanette Lee sells sex. I sell pool excellence. And he's looking over our way because he knew where the sound, but he didn't have any idea who said it, you know. And he just goes into this big old long speech. She looked at me and she goes, wow.
Sorry, guys, we got off on a tangent a little bit, but
Oh, yeah.
Tony looks like he's doing some work here.
Well,
He's got that
Tony's
13-12 that's
Tony's kind of fallen into this. He does the work early, and
yeah.
he's kind of the setup man for Chris. And this is
I'm not so sure there's a setup here though, unless you can get that.
no. Chris is gonna have a little more work.
Now, if he clears this 11 and this 14,
I mean, if I'm Tony right here, I kind of thinking maybe just play safe here. Don't make this 11.
right?
Leave that 14 there, and just shoot the 11 over to the rail and put the cue ball up table.
Right. Well, the 14 stops a good breakout. I mean, because you could use that too to break out the rest of that mess that's sitting right there.
But I mean, he's got quite a few balls that. No more pool stories. All right. We're sorry. We're sorry. Trying to find the right mix between stories and picking on these guys that are playing. We try not to pick on them too much. Well, he's going to have to try to spin into those balls now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was saying no more pool stories or no more pool stories.
Oh.
I'm not sure which he was saying there. I'm sure he'll tell us, though.
Yeah.
We did get off on a little tangent there.
More pool stories. They're entertaining.
Oh, well, I've got those for days for us.
He says, no, I mean, I want more pool stories. Awesome. Well, if we can make any more up, we'll.
Yeah. I'm writing them as we speak. I have some. I just don't know how many of them I can tell on here.
Is this a family show?
Yeah. One of the best times I ever had, actually, was at Vegas with Francisco Bustamante doing impersonations of other pool players. It was hilarious.
Well, just I'll tell you another one that does great impressions, and he actually does one of Bustamante.
Roberto.
Is Roberto Gomez. I told Rick, I said, you got to get him. You got to film him doing
I tried.
This. Oh.
I tried. Roberto was busy, and I couldn't get it to line up.
He is just one of the nicest guys.
You know,
But he does an Efren, Dennis Arcolo, Bustamante, and I mean, he just nails them absolutely perfect. I kind of like what Tony did there. He just rolled the 5 over with the 1.
Yeah.
They don't go anywhere. And he's giving up ball in hand, but
the funniest thing I've ever seen is Bustamante doing Ralph Souquet. It's literally priceless watching him go down on a shot and stand back up and then go back down on a shot and stand back up and go back down on a shot. And every time Boosty does it, his eyes get big and then small and then big and then small. Like he's really getting into this. It was just hilarious.
yeah.
I stop to think about every once about how lucky we are for some of the stuff we get to see that nobody else gets to see.
I forget who was doing. I think Alex one night was doing some. Alex Bagulian he did a Mike DeShane, you know, the way he chalks his cue. And,
yeah.
how he had it down just perfect. And then he did Shane. I forget what he. and it was pretty good.
I've had some really great moments with some of the players too.
You know, it's a fine line with these guys. You're friends, but they have to know that, look, I will forfeit you just like I will forfeit
Right.
John Doe at the Texas State Open. I mean, it's
They all know that with me. They
well, they
know
do.
that I don't cross any lines there.
They do with me, and it took a while though. When I started first working Derby, they would test you. BCAPL referee says Alex does a great Allison Fisher too.
I haven't seen that
Now
one.
that would be, I would love to see him do that one.
I bet 90% of the people listening don't know about Alex and Corey Deuel doing the dress match. There's not many people that do.
Dress match. I don't know that I was.
Oh, they both put on dresses and played a match against each other.
Oh.
It was absolutely hilarious. Probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Now I remember the two women on the WPBA that were told they were out of dress code, so they were gambling or whatever, and so they played in their bras.
Yeah, I do remember that too. Yeah.
Greg Letter. I think there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, Greg, Nick's right on the money there.
Yep. In fact, this year at Derby, somebody came up to the tournament desk and they said, "So is Earl here this year?" And I said, "No, Earl's not here." And he goes, "Ah, it's too bad." I said, "Well, maybe for you." And he goes, "What? Don't you guys like Earl here?" I said, "Not really." I said as a fan, I enjoy watching Earl, but I said as a tournament director or as a referee, no, not so much.
Well, one of my dream matches actually is to see Earl Strickland play Jonathan Pinniger or Jonathan Hennessy, whichever one you know him as. I don't think it'd ever happen, but to see the antics out of those two, it might as well be McCready playing him. Which I'd pay to see that one too, Keith and
Oh my gosh,
Keith and Earl. I'd pay to see that.
yes, I would too. Well, BCAPL referee, I knew who it was. I just wasn't gonna say their names. I just wished I would have been there to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, but thanks for outing everybody, Donner.
Oh, I don't think those girls really. Yes, Keith is still alive.
Keith is alive and well, and actually a lot healthier than he was years ago.
He's doing well. He's married and
He's not playing.
not playing pool. I think
no.
he plays a little poker.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to him recently. He's actually thought about playing pool again. It's just all the habits that went along with it. He's trying to stay away from.
Right.
And I think his marriage depends on it.
Well, he has just the greatest. I've only met her one time, but that woman's a saint.
Yeah. Oh, you're not kidding.
It's like, how? I mean, I just look and go, how did you get her?
Yeah.
And I think he knows how lucky he is.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He worships the ground she walks on.
I have a lot of respect for when he quit and how he quit. It was time.
Yeah. Well, had he not, he probably wouldn't be alive today. So.
No, he wouldn't. But the antics that Keith can, it's just incredible. And if it was anybody else, that line actually probably wouldn't ever came out of there, but it just keeps getting worse and worse, doesn't it? That actually is so much Keith. There's no way that movie ever came up with that line. That is
Well,
Keith
yeah,
through and
I
through
think they
and through.
just let him
Yeah.
because, yeah, Grady Seasons was Keith McCready. I mean, there was
Yep.
not a lot of acting there. It could just be yourself.
Yep.
I always thought what a great movie his life story would make.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know about for the general public, but my gosh, there's not a pool player out there that wouldn't pony up the money to go see the Keith McCready story.
Yeah.
Or somebody to write his autobiography or whatever before he help him. Now they're talking about the Fargo.
Chris shot really well again at the end of that wreck.
He did. He's just keeps finishing. I'm going to nickname him the janitor. He just keeps cleaning it up.
Oh, what you were saying there. I would pay good money to see that Keith McCready story.
Oh, man.
I know a lot of it, but I would still pay good money to see it.
Sure. Yeah, if you guys haven't done so yet, type Fargo raid into your YouTube search. After we're done, don't do it now. But
The Fargo rate's based on a ELO type system that's been around forever. They've used it for chess for years and other sports, and it works really well once put in place and some time's put into it to actually get the data. That's the key, is once they have the data for a long period of time, it'll just get better and better. I think chess has been using it since the 70s, though. It's just
it's very similar to what chess uses.
Yeah, it's just an algorithm.
It's a peer-to-peer rating system.
Yeah.
So it's not just what you do, it's what everybody you play does against other people. All right, he's made a ball. Because of that 11 ball, I think I like the solids. If you come in and you don't have a Fargo rating, they give you what's called a starter rating.
And really, until you have about 200 games in, Fargo doesn't have you pegged. Once you have about 200 games in with other people, it starts to spiderweb, sort of like social media. Once it starts to get out there, and just for example, like if me and Brett and Rick all played one game of pool, and then we all played one game of pool with some guy named Paul, we could tell how the other ones are going to play against Paul by what the other people did, just by the way they played together. It's a big spider web. And the more data they have, the better it'll get. Because I've never actually played Shane, but I've played people that have played Shane.
Right. Yes. Well, they'll base it on people that know you and know how you play.
The best way to do the ELO type system, though, is to not start somebody too high, to start them in the middle.
Yeah.
And let it slowly work itself up. You can't go too low or people will get discouraged playing that person because they're always giving them weight. But if you start them in the middle, then they move up and down a little bit as they go, and they'll level out eventually.
It's hard to use like the BCA, rating system, like the Open, Advanced, Masters. If they haven't played BCA, that doesn't mean a whole lot to them. So,
Right.
well, he certainly didn't want to roll up on that ball.
it's sort of easier to explain actually with what the APA uses, because with what the APA uses, the reason why the Fargo system works so well is because if you take 2 5s and play them 100 games, it's never going to come out 50-50.
Right.
One of them is going to be, it it may be
Well, and I know,
47,
yeah, and I know Fargo is trying to get the APA data. They are pretty good about getting data. It's any tournament that has posted their brackets online or on social media. I mean, they are all over it.
Yeah, if you look at all the different handicaps, though, I mean, I think TAP's using a 3-digit handicap. Maybe it's 2-digit. But they all have a different idea of how it works. But
Right.
the ELO system itself, that could have been bad.
Could have been. It's really a good thing that 9-ball was sitting there.
Yeah.
But this could be. He's gonna have natural
Shape to that 8-ball for
Yeah,
sure.
he's gonna cut this one in and come down.
And again, he's read this really well.
You know, he got off to a slow start, but he's really played a smart match since then.
He just needs to hit this 1 ball sort of thin and come straight back down.
Oh, come on, come on, come on.
He actually got a really nice kiss out of that.
Well, this is a little bit of a thin cut, but I think he's gonna be okay. He would have liked to have come down another foot.
Right.
He looked it over pretty good. It's thin. Nope. He wasn't quite able to get past that point.
He hit it a little
But
thick.
he's left it pretty tough.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be sitting right there.
I wouldn't want to be down 3-1 and be. This is my opening shot here.
Yeah, I don't want to be shooting this 8-ball either, though.
I was gonna say I'm gonna shoot that 10 and not even care if it goes in.
Yeah. Or the 14. Just push the 14 down to the corner. It doesn't really matter.
Well, yeah, you got to worry about making a good hit with the 14. But you could even just hit the 12 and.
Yeah.
That 8-ball's on a real tough spot.
There's only one place where you actually make that 8-ball, and that's if you're along this rail with the 11.
I think so. I don't think he's got room out in the middle of the table to.
Now, you leave him down on that end, and he's in trouble.
Yep.
See right here. Now, he did have room to make that ball, Brett.
Okay.
Yeah, he had room to make it.
I wasn't sure, man.
It didn't look like it to me either. Well, that puts Chris 4-1.
That's it. That was a race to 4. This is in the B division, so.
We want to thank you guys for hanging out there with us, and this is the last match for this evening, but we will be there tomorrow all day, and we got finals running all day tomorrow, back to back. So just come hang out with us. We've got the open division, the B division, and we got the women's open and B, and we have
Seniors. So we'll keep you posted. Yeah, we're going to have some great matches tomorrow. So crowning some state champions. Once again, thanks for joining us, and have a good evening. We really appreciate you guys supporting us, and you guys in the chat room are always a lot of fun.
Yeah, and thanks, Donner, for watching the chat room for us, too. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll have fun as soon as these last matches are done. Good night, everybody.